data quality services, which is one of the new features which is there in the SQL Server 2012. Before diving into, we need to first understand few concepts and taxonomy to relate with and then move forward. Now, data quality is a pretty big term in itself because it may mean different things to different people depending on from which context the person is seeing it. And if you see that there is operational people who are entering the data, people who are on the ground and dealing with the data day in, day out, they have got these data quality issues. Every day we can see that you have this customer's name coming up which may be misspelled, which are not right, or the address was all right but the zip code didn't go well, and that's what the kind of issues we generally bump into. This thing, if you see from a decision-making perspective or from a managerial or management perspective, the data quality problems magnify to an extent that decision-making becomes really very, very difficult. So just to say that what was my sales in New York can be really difficult if we are not able to confirm that NY means New York, or some people have got different kind of synonyms for this particular state. Now the thing is that if you see again in the planning context, when you want to plan across, when you want to build something across, again you require past data in order to go ahead and give you a precursor to what exactly you are looking into. So these all dimensions, if you look from these all dimensions, this data quality means different things to different people. The more the decision impact of that particular data is, the bigger the challenge for us to maintain the data quality. What kind of issues we generally see across? There can be n number of issues, but then these are the broader terms being used for these issues, like standard. Is there any standard maintained for it? So M means male, F means female in our system throughout. It may be possible that some application is putting MALE, so, and some people do a bit 1 or 0. And so therefore there is a confusion in the whole thing, and therefore there has to be a standard. And complete means that it's there, there's no blank in it. It's like you have customer name, the first name is filled, but the last name, well, the operator just forgot it or was not able to record it. Now accurate, now that's a big word there, accurate. So what exactly we mean accurate? Now accuracy means that, okay, we have this customer in one of our operational database or operational application, and then this customer also appears in one of my CRM application, but then the gender for this particular customer is different in these both the systems. Now, what do you say there? And that's kind of accuracy challenge we have in the data when it's coming from various systems. Now, is it valid? Now, it's very important that we have a set boundaries for our data. And I'm going to speak this particular term, and this is going to be really the hallmark of the data quality services, which is called as domain. So when you say valid is like the boundaries of the domain. Now we say, okay, now salaries can be from 60 to 120,000 K, and that's what is there for this particular region and cannot go beyond that. Now that's kind of, I'm defining the boundaries for my domain. Now it is unique, and if it's appearing several times, does it spell different, or it's same every time? That's what basically uniqueness means. Now any data quality solutions for that matter should have all these things which you see across here in the slide. Now it should allow you to clean the data. That's very important. Now the other thing which is there is that it should be able to profile the data, and that gives you a platform to go ahead and clean the data. You would need to monitor this whole process, cleaning your data and conforming to your data quality needs. And above all is matching. Now this is like the same data coming from various systems. You need to deduplicate it, and that's the biggest challenge of any data warehousing project, is that we need to make a conform dimension across the various operations. Now, when we want to do that, we need to be sure that our dimension is not different for one area and for other area it means something else. They should call conform in order to make a decision what decision really impactful. Now, the DQS for that matter is knowledge driven. Now, what we mean by knowledge driven, I'm going to just delve into it in the demo as well as in the next slides to come. Knowledge driven is that you first basically create some kind of information repository where all this knowledge is stored. Now, this knowledge basically is used in order to clean your data, match your data, and so on and so forth. And we will see how basically we build this knowledge base. Now, that's another term, knowledge base. Now, I've introduced you to two terms, domain and the knowledge base. And then it needs to be open. Well, DQS is open and extendable. So what we mean by that is that it can integrate data from various sources. And a very significant thing here is that Azure Marketplace, which I showed you in the end of my earlier presentation, that can be used as a source to verify your data against a central place where you know that these guys are keeping a tab of everything in that particular domain. And ease of use, and that's obviously paramount, because if it's complicated, you know, people don't get into it and work it out. So it's definitely easy to use, but we need to be careful in understanding the terminology of it. And once we understand that, I think its application per se is really simple to use. Knowledge base and domain, these are the two words basically which holds their way here. Now, let's talk about domain. Now, domain is basically, in a very simple term, is just like a column in a table, right? So if you have, let's say, it's the name of your customers, or maybe the pin code, zip code of your customers. So it's kind of attribute of an entity which basically tells you across that this is a domain. And now this domain basically is like, as I said to you, to understand it in a very simple way, is basically just an attribute or a column. Now it have values. Now those values, you can have rules on them. So rules means as I told you earlier, that a data validation rule can be there, a range can be there, or we can say that these will only have the text in it, it will have an alphanumeric in it, and it can be of this length, and so on and so forth. And then there is a third-party reference data which I told you about, is the Azure Marketplace, where you can get this data. And let's say you want to do a check that your zip codes are valid zip codes. So you have these zip codes in a Market Azure place, and you can directly link it, and you can clean your data using that. There is another terminology before moving ahead, is the composite domains. Now it is basically a domain. When a domain is a singular entity, now it's like just a column. Now a composite domain means that you have 2-3 columns which combine together and form a meaningful attribute for the business. So let's say I have got an address, a very typical example, and in that address is just the street address and all that. And then you have the state and the country, the zip code. So you have these 3-4 domains, and now when you club them together, it becomes the full address of that particular customer. Now that's what is known as composite domain. In this composite domain also you can set across rules which says across that if these permutation combinations are possible. I'm going to show you that in demo, so you will have a good grip of it. These domains and composite domains come together and forms the knowledge base. And you can do the cleaning part of once you have all these domains and composite domains in place with you. If you see the knowledge base consists of this domain, composite domain, and matching policy. And the matching policy is, as I told you, that deduplicating your data. And for that, you require a specific algorithm. You need to put in certain parameters over there, and I'm going to discuss about that, and very simple and straight. So it's more like once you start using this service, it's a learning journey for both how basically the knowledge base works, how the domain works, and how you need to fine tune all these parameters in order to get the exact rules to match your data and clean your data. So you need to define the validation rules for your domains. You need to get the values in it. So that is what is known as knowledge discovery. And then you have the composite domains. You need to build them, create them, set the rules on that. You can import the data. You can discover the data. There's a difference between import and discover. That's what we're going to see in the demo. And then you can define the rules and policies for data validation, cleaning, and matching. Now, record matching is one of the focus area of DQS, and it's basically identifying in your business that you have different systems telling about the same entity, but they are giving you almost similar, but there are some issues with how they basically represent that entity. So, and I told you about New York, somebody writing NY, and so on and so forth. And you just need to deduplicate all that stuff. Well, there's a cost to data non-conformance, and that we all know that how basically when it comes to the building the dimensional model, if we have same entity, meaning same in the real world, but it's looking different to us when we are browsing it through a cube, then it can really mean the business making a wrong decision about that particular reason. And that's the cost of it. Now, there are various reasons of mismatching. As I told you, that if you have different systems from which the same entity data is coming in, it can be a design flaw sometimes. You haven't done proper data validation, so there's an open field somewhere, and you are allowing people to key in whatever they want. And that's really the data validation problem starts in. And you have some data which is coming from your subsidiary, and that's an integration challenge because the subsidiary may deal with the data in a different way. Abbreviation, as I told you, they are really the trickiest part of the thing, and we have a specific rule to, a specific feature to see to it that how abbreviation can be converted into their full form, so that we have a data which is conforming. Well, data changes and there the redundancy issues comes into picture. So the address has changed in the CRM for a customer, but my other system, which is an operating system application, doesn't know that it has changed. So it is using the earlier one. And then again, this issue of how to deduplicate. Now, these are a few terms, and I'm going to get to the demo, and then I'm going to really stress on these terms. But just to give you a feel of it, a similarity, now it's very straightforward. Like if you have a domain, now let's say, just imagine that it's a column. So that domain data is coming from somewhere else. And now when you want to match these two, you can say it's similar. Now similar is a very kind of contextual terms, in terms of that it can be similar to what degree, and that's what the similarity means. Now if you say that it's exactly equal, that exact is the word which conveys that it's 100% equal. Now similarity means that okay, it's similar, it can be 70% equal, 80%, and that's what the similarity rule you have to mention, that okay, I need this 70% or so and so forth. Now weight is that when you have multiple domains to compare, then you give weightage to each one of them. That okay, this one is really important for me, so you're giving more weight to it. And then prerequisite is something like there you say that okay, this domain should have the complete match, and it should be there, and without this I will treat it as that this particular record is a new record. And then minimum matching score, and that's where the tuning comes into place. Minimum matching score is again the algorithm uses in order to create that, to tell that there are two data is similar or not. And that's where tweaking can happen. But 80% and above is what is recommended. Depending on what your data needs are, you can try to make it 95%. But anything below 80%, you will see that there will be a lot of compromise in how the data is being matched. Now, the policing tuning effort is something like moves on these two things: it's completeness and uniqueness. So that gives you really these two factors needs to go in when you are doing this matching policy tuning stuff. Overlapping, non-overlapping clusters. Now this is a very simple concept, although the words are really heavy. See, there are now when you do a matching, a cluster is formed. So it's saying that okay, these 5 entries match to my knowledge base, and these are into, let's say, this cluster. So let's say you have red circle over here and a green circle over here on the left of your screen, and these two circles represent cluster. Now it is possible to have them overlap depending on what kind of scores they are having, and that's what is known as overlapping clusters. And we will see that we can go for an overlapping cluster and we can go for a non-overlapping cluster. Now it depends on how we like to go ahead and deal with this data quality issue. This is more like a business decision to be built, to be taken, whether we want them, if they have to be only all in one, and that way it's difficult for the engine to basically tell that this is in the red one or the green one. So therefore we can say no, we don't want this confusion, and let's go for just the one, so that a particular entry or a particular domain value needs to be in just one cluster. Now this is I just wanted to introduce you this terminology because this sometimes can be really confusing. So matching is all the records which are matched, that comes in the match result, and survivors are those which are not able to match. So survivors are the ones which you see that it's a unique entry in that domain, and that's how you can say that okay, I just want to know my survivors and the matching in that. The integration services can utilize TSQ services by your DQS connection manager. That's how it connects to the DQS service, and then you can use the DQS cleaning transformation to clean your data and do the match policy. The one very important factor here is that the data source available. Now, when I'm going to show you the demo, we have only 2 data sources which we can tap into, and that is the SQL Server one, and then Excel. But one more thing here is that Excel 64-bit is still not supported. So if you have Excel Office 2010 64-bit, you need to be sure that when you save it as 97 2000 XLS. So let's go and jump onto the demo. There are 3 separate parts of it, and it says knowledge base management. That's where we are going to create a knowledge base. And once a knowledge base is created, then we run the data quality projects, which is for cleaning and matching. And then there is an administrative part, which is like you want to know what all activities you have done across the data quality project. And then configuration. I will come to the configuration later on, where one important factor over here is that you can some of the values which you require in the algorithm, some parameters, you can configure from there. The first and the primary thing to do is that we need to create a new knowledge base. As soon as we click it, we just need to give it a name, and I will. Now, the example where I'm going to take here is that we have SQL Server versions and additions. So now this is an inventory of a company where they have all these. They want to know all their SQL servers, what edition they are on, and they have got some Excel sheet where all this data is lying. But they want to make it clean and keep it with them in order to for licensing things and for upgrade and all that stuff. Now, naming is demo 2, create knowledge base from. Now you have the ability to tap into an existing knowledge base, but we won't go that way. So we're going to create a new knowledge base for us. Now this is where we are going to create our domains. As soon as I say create a domain here, I'm going to name a domain. So it's like just a name of a column and attribute for me. But again, it's known as domain because that's where we're going to do all those rules and matching things. So SQL Server version, that's the domain name which I would like to give you. The description, data type is pretty simple. Leading values. Now that's one thing which is which you need to understand is that now let's say for every value now it's SQL Server 2012. Now some people can call it 11. That's the version, right? And therefore SQL Server 2012 is synonym to 11 for this domain. SQL Server 2000 is synonym to 8. That's where we basically move into synonyms. I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to tell you across that how basically it finds that out. And the leading value is the value which is in the first column when you get the data in, and it's going to use that. And if you find somewhere written 11 in the SQL Server version domain, then it's going to convert it into SQL Server 2012. Normalized string, that's one thing which is an algorithm, and if you want to use it, it will normalize your string. That means basically it's going to see that it's going to use the internal algorithms to see that how close it is, and that's what the normalizing means. So format output, if you are interested in that, you can format it the way you want, and uppercase, lowercase, and all that. Very simple. Enable spellers, so you can check the spellings and all that. And we go ahead and create that. And once we create it, we have the same which the first screen which we have is almost same here. And then we have reference data. Now that's where we can browse to the Azure Marketplace and get the data from there. I won't go into that. We'll focus on the DQS itself. So you can just get the reference data and then try to use that as a domain for yourself. Now you can create a domain rule, and now if I want to create here, I can say across the length is equal to this much. And now just for the sake of it, I will just put over here, let's say the length cannot be more than 30. And just basically want to create something here. I want to say the length check. You have n number of, just you can drop down here, and then you can create a number of, like you can compare with the value and do all those things which you want in order to do a rule here. And length check, and okay. And once you're done with this, it's already created over there. And then domain values. Now we need to get domain values into our this particular domain, and that's pretty straightforward. So we can add it manually, but that's something really going to be a big challenge, because if you have a really big domain, and the number of unique values you have in the domain is really big in terms of, let's say, in thousands and so, it will be really cumbersome for you to add each one of them. So it's better that you use a Excel sheet. I'm going to use an Excel sheet here. So I've already created an Excel book here, and I'm going to move it into my SQL Server version here, and use the first one as a header. Now before moving ahead, I'm going to show you what exactly is there in that sheet, so you can correlate. Now this is SQL Server version. So what I did was that I did a query of my database where all these things were there with my other servers, and I got these two columns, it's SQL Server version number and SQL Server version, and it was got a lot of redundancy in the data, but I'm not cleaned it. I think the DQS can do that job really nice, so I just kept it as it is. Let's go back, and then what we do is we say, okay, it's going to import all those values and see to it that there are what kind of unique values we have, and it's going to do that synonym check also. So you have two columns, therefore it will do a synonym checks. So it has got maybe not set as synonyms and vlogs and all those things which you can go and see the log that what exactly will happen with your values. Now I said OK, and you can see over here. It should have changed on its own, but anyhow. What I mean to say was, actually, see, what you can do here is that you can say that this is not right, and or maybe correct it to. Okay, I will come back to it. So basically what you can do is you can correlate these values together, and then you can work that out from there. And let me go back. Okay, let's go ahead and then term-based relationship. Now on this, let's say I've got MS, this term here. What I will do is I'm going to create, now term-based is basically again the abbreviation which may, or slangs which will come in your way. Now wherever I see MS, I'm going to correct it to Microsoft. This is the way how I'm building my knowledge base. And if I've got SQL, then I would say SQL Server here. And I can create one more last, which is, let's say, SERV. And this. Apply the changes here. So when I do that, I've already created a domain here. So in order to quicken up the things, I'm not going to create other domains, and I'm going to start off with another thing, another inventory. The one which I created earlier in demo, because it's going to take a while again to create those domains. So I'm going to finish it, and it's going to publish. So publish means that now it is open to anybody to go to that knowledge base and you can see it and use it for cleaning. Let me go to my inventory demo 1, which I built earlier, and it will save us some time. And we'll go to domain management, and we will show you that what all was created there. Okay, so now you have the SQL Server version which I was talking about, and I don't know, basically that time I got it right, so I want to show you here that it's going to convert this into the synonyms, and that's how it's going to happen across. And that's what I wanted to show you. So I created another one which is SQL Server Editions, and it's got all the editions over here. Now I would like to show you that this one is a composite domain. Now when you if you see here, create a composite domain, when you click that, you can create a composite domain that is consisting of your maybe 2 or 3 domains. And then okay, the important factor over here is that what kind of relations, what kind of rules you want to have. Now we know that 2008 R2 was only having data center, and it's no more there in 2012. So I created that particular rule for this composite domain. Yeah, I got some questions. Like that. Yeah, sure, you can do that, definitely. So once we have published it, you can basically now see, this one is published already, right? Now, basically, if you want to add it, it's pretty open to me, and I can really edit, and again, when I do finish, I can go for a publish, and it will support that, right? And similarly, okay, the composite domain rule cannot be saved, so it's make invalid. So I'm just going to delete it for here. Yeah, do something more. Okay, right. So, so you can definitely change that once you publish it. See, till that point you have not published it, it is not basically accessible to other people. So it's locked to that particular user. So it is like a single user mode. So that knowledge base is working in a single user mode till the point you have not published it. When you publish it, it becomes available to everybody, and they can tap into it and work on it. Now, okay, so that's the way how basically you get the data into it, and composite domain. Now here value relations, I don't see anything here, but So there is a cap here. So when you have that more than 20 records, then it shows you the frequency of that. And I created a very small subset of it, so it's not showing it to you. So if you see here, it's a pretty small subset of data. Now, once you have through this, then you have this. Now, I will stop here and then go back and now tell you that this is how to do a knowledge discovery. This is like you're going to create domain and all those things, but then how do you do a knowledge discovery to enrich your knowledge base? Okay. So here I say close. If you see here, and there is a domain management, so we are almost through with domain management. So we go to knowledge discovery here. Knowledge discovery is it's something like say I've got a input coming from an Excel or a SQL Server table where I've got additional source columns. I mean to say, like, let's say there are SQL Server version and XYZ, and I've got more number of domains there, but those domains are not present in my knowledge base at this moment. So that's where the knowledge discovery comes into play. So what you're going to do is, let's say I'm going to use again the Excel file. I'm going to use the same file. Open it, and I'm going to say discovery one. And if you see here, it's going to get the headers for me, and you can match it with the one which you have earlier. So okay, and let me just, there was only one. Oh, this was for the earlier one. Let me go back, cancel it, close it for the time being, because I need to, should be on this one. Not in distributed domain management, distributed. Okay, it's not taking me to that. Just a second. Okay, we will stick to this one because this is a new one. Just wanted to show you so that you get a feel of it. And let's stick to this one. Makes sense to me also. So you have got again the SQL Server Discovery one, and now I don't have SQL Server editions, and that's where the discovery will happen. And it's kind of a good thing that we are going to discover all these things here. So I'm going to just match the SQL Server version here, but I'm going to say that no, I want to create a domain here, and that's how you can do it. When you're doing a knowledge discovery, you can create a domain here. So my domain will be named as SQL Server. Okay, now I need to create another one, and it says to me Windows OS. Okay, so now I'm creating new domains also when I'm doing a knowledge discovery. I'll press next. So it's going to ask me for starting it up. I'm going to run all algorithms and get me all the unique, what kind of unique values are there, what are valid or not. So you get this domain has got these many valid values, unique values, right? It's showing me 0 because it was not valid in domain, because I was not having any rules for that, exactly the matching that, and completeness and all those things. So I go forward, and that's where it's going to say me, okay, that's what basically it's having, that it has got 3 values for this SQL Server version. It has got no new values, so it showed me that it's 0 because all those things which I imported in, it was already there in my domain, so there was no discovery here. And then Windows OS, so I've got 3 values coming in up, so I can show you from where I got that, these information. So these all was already there in my domain, so it didn't go for that. Now these were the new ones, and basically it came up and did a unique on that. That's how basically we got these 3 values, right? And I'm going to get these in. So finish that and publish that. So it's all published. And now if I open my domain management, You see here the SQL Server Edition. This is a new domain again there, and the Windows OS domain. Now let's go quickly over to the match policy, and then we will go to how basically we run the data quality project. Okay, so here I am with this one. Sorry. Alright, yes, this is the place from where I can go to my demo 2, and I want to do I think I opened up the domain management, so maybe I published it or not. It's not showing me the matching policy here. It's going to domain, maybe it's open for me. So what I will do is, let me go to domain management and say, it should be publish. Okay, when I say finish, say publish. And I'll say okay. Okay, now yes, I got it here. So you see that it is locked when you have opened it, but you have not. You just closed it. You have not published it. So you need to publish it in order to make it public and people can use it and then play around with it. So let's go to matching policy here. Now what I will do is I'm going to create a matching policy, and for that I've got DQ match policy, and this is a simple sheet here. This one here. And it's got data in it, and we want to do some kind of matching between these data, and let's say this is source columns. And let's see SQL Server Edition here. The matching for all of these. Okay. Now once you have said that, okay, this is my source column, this is my domain to which I'm going to match it. Now here you need to create a rule, and that's where that terminology which I told you, similarity, the weight, and the prerequisite all comes into play in the rule editor. So now this is a minimum matching score which I told you about, 80% plus will be in healthy one. Going below that is not recommended, but in case your business requires it, I definitely can do that. So you can add domains here. Let me add all of the 3 domains. Okay, and then what I say is that let's say the Windows should be exact match, or now when it's an exact match, again I have to give it, there is a weight to it. But let's do a prerequisite, and then it's like compulsory. I need to have a match in the Windows OS, and it's a prerequisite for me in order to go ahead and say that, okay, these 2 records are same. Now these 2 are similar, and I'll just tell you in a minute that whenever you're going to put the weights, the sum total of these weights should be 100. So if I put 60 for SQL Server version and 40 for edition, and that's how it makes 100. Domain element weight should be, yeah, okay, it's done. Now I told you about overlapping clusters, and non-overlapping clusters. The concept is simple, and let me use the overlapping cluster at this moment, or maybe depending on your business scenario, you can choose either of them. And then we click the start button. So we have created a rule, and it's going to just give us a feedback of how basically it's matching them, what kind of clusters you are building out of it. So see, if you see over here, it's saying that, okay, these 2 records are similar, and yes, they are similar. So it's pretty accurately getting us the duplicate data which we have. And now if I want to know unmatched, so it's going to show me these values are totally unmatched to me because I don't have anything. I'm not reaching that 60, 70%, 60 and 40% that weight and with similarity and all those algorithms. I'm not able to get them an exact match in my domains. So let's do a next. And here the new values, unique values, all those things come up. Execute and prevent, we know that. Okay, you can again do a start and do all those things. And I would go ahead and you can just see, this is like training your knowledge base. for the match. And you can run it over and over again to see that what kind of uniqueness you are getting, how many new values you are getting, and then try to tweak around those percentages and publish this. Just 6-7 minutes here, so let me be a little bit quick here. So now I will create a new data project, and let me just name it yeah, I'm going to show you that. Yeah, you will be there as the survivors. That's what they call the unmatched ones, and you're just going to see that. So I'm just going to do a clean first, and then I'm going to show you that. And I want to clean this data with inventory demo 2. Yeah. So now I'm just going to clean it. Let me show you really quick that. So it's asking me where is the data line, and again it's an Excel sheet, and I will use the same sheet over here, and there will be a match, and I will clean to match, and again we have to just do this mapping of domains, and then we have Windows Server here, Windows OS here, and then let's go. So I will say start clean. Start cleaning. Now here all these statistics is going to give you basically it's still in process, so it's not completed yet. Yeah. Okay, right. I would like to show you here that it's going to tell you the new values which come into play. You can accept them, approve it, reject it, and similarly there will be invalid values depending on what scenario, if it's blank or something like that. And if it's able to correct it, it's going to correct it and then get you that. So these two have been corrected too. Like if you click over here, it's going to show you that domain value express line and all the stuff, which one was those. And it's going to, you can say that correct to this. It will suggest you also depending on what kind of rules and all those things you have done. So it's not showing it here the whole thing because we did a quick and dirty job here in this demo. But when we are going to do the real thing, we have to build a really enriched knowledge base, and then we are going to see that all these will be there. And then what we can do is we can just export it. So I can export as data only, which is clean, or I can say the data and cleaning information together. So it's going to tell me what all the reasons were there for invalidity and what are the new values and so on and so forth. So that's how it's going to create for cleaning. Now let me quickly jump into the matching. I'll say match first. And again, let me just get this demo 2 data. Yep. So I got a 5-minute bell here. So inventory demo 2 again, and then I'm going to say matching policy. Okay, what do you say? Ignore here. This doesn't go down. Yes, goes down. So now, again, I'm going to go for an Excel file here and take this data here. Now I'm almost using the same one which I used for training, and it has, because it has already done it, so it mapped the domains for me. And you have, again, if you want to tweak this particular settings, you can do that, overlap clustering and non-overlap clustering. Let's start this. Okay, so it came up with, okay, we got the match which showed earlier, and so you have matched and unmatched, and that's what our matched and survivors are called, unmatched or survivors. And now here I got this destinations, so I can go for a CSV file here, and then all my matching results need to go in this particular CSV file, and my survivor relation results should go in this particular CSV. So all these, and then I can apply my rules to have the pivot reports and all those things on the survivorship. And it's going to show you in the moment here that, one second, let me just get this. Yeah, I have already done it, so I'm just going to open them up for you. This is the survivors one. So these are the ones which were the unique to me. That means they were not having any match at all for me. So I need to just see that how basically I can accommodate them, or my knowledge base is not really enriched to see that these are similar, right? And let me just go over and show you the match. Match would be very straightforward. So it's going to show me that what all it has matched and the score rates for that. So I can do all the analysis that my matching is exact or not. So that's the thing which we can work out, and I'm almost done with my demo here. Yeah, and you can just say export and all that. You can say, okay, I will just close it at this moment. And I just want to raise two more things to tell you. It's very simple. Activity monitoring, and this is where you can see what all activities we have done here. Those all are you're going to see over here, and you can say that from which time to which time. Like I published this particular thing, inventory demo 1 and 2. It will show me like what I did with the demo 2. It's like a log. And real quick here, configuration, and that configuration log setting. No, yeah, one second. Okay, minimum record score, that's what you saw, 80%, so you can change that. So autocorrect and suggestions. So all these, obviously you can try to see that how suitable they are to your business, and you can try to really change them, and you can really try to create the domain behave in a different way when you have these values changed, because these are the input parameters for the algorithm to work. So that's it. That gets us to the complete demo.